Mandatory extended producer responsibility. That is effectively telling producers, you now have to take on a share or the bulk of the share of the burden of financing, managing, and making sure that your material is managed in the proper way. Just like a corporation would internalize the costs of making sure that their products adhere to health and safety standards, in the same way, a corporation has to internalize the costs of making sure that when that product is sold and it's reached the end of its life, it's going to be properly managed. So we're seeing a lot more of that in Europe, but it's also spreading to other parts of the world. The other thing we're seeing is that industry, brand owners, the big companies are starting to also embrace these kinds of laws. Typically, they'd be lobbying against them, but now they're starting to embrace them because they know that unless there's a good law in place, only then will all of the producers all comply with the law, and it's a level playing field. And if you want to be an operator in this market, you're going to have to comply in a whole bunch of ways. You're going to have to put packaging on the market that's recyclable. It's going to have recycled content so it lowers its environmental footprint. You're going to have to report. You're going to have to report what you sell, how much, when, and you're going to have to pay for it. These are all new concepts, and they're really being introduced in a major way in the last decade in Europe. But now they're starting to be ramped up, more responsibility, a greater share of the burden. That is a huge obligation for producers. And yes, it's going to have to be put in the price of the product. And we as consumers are all going to have to bear that burden of responsibility. Products will be designed better, and systems will be designed so that we can capture those materials and recirculate them into the economy again and again. Those are the circular loops that we're talking about.